Trade season is finally here. The NHL trade deadline is less than a week away, and we got a couple of early bird deals right before the trade deadline. So we're going to talk about the Patrick Eaves deal, him going to the Anaheim Ducks, and then we got a smaller deal with Thomas Jurco being acquired by the Chicago Blackhawks from the Detroit Red Wings. So the first move we got is Patrick Eaves going to the Anaheim Ducks. Now, they acquired him for a conditional second-round pick. So the condition is that the pick would become Anaheim's first rounder if the Ducks reach the Western Conference Final, which is the third round of the playoffs, and Patrick Eaves plays at least 50% of the Ducks playoff games. Now, if it does become a first, it's probably not going to be that great of a first round pick, but it's still a first round pick. Now, that second round pick originally belonged to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They acquired that trade when the Frederik Andersen deal went through, so that's the pick that they used to acquire Patrick Eaves. Throwing this into the NHL 17 trade simulation, going from Anaheim to Dallas, they say absolutely yes, no question about that. So I went ahead and I went into the best lines, and you see there, they have Patrick Eaves playing in their top six. Now, I'm not 100% sure where he's actually going to play. Maybe you guys can let me know if you're an Anaheim Ducks fan. I like the move to strengthen up the top six, though. I think it's a smart move by the Anaheim Ducks. Now, going the other way, going from Dallas to Anaheim, Anaheim says no, they're not about that trade. They don't want anything to do with it. So kind of funny how one side said yes and the other said no. He's having a career year this year with already 37 points in 59 games. The big thing being 21 goals. Now, I'm not sure if that's because he was playing with Ben and Tyler Seguin, but he's going to get the chance to play with some superstars in Anaheim as well. So I'm not sure if he's going to put up the numbers he's been putting up in Dallas, but regardless, I think it helps Anaheim with their push towards the playoffs. Obviously, Dallas was nowhere close to a playoff team this year, but you got to look at it from the other perspective. From Dallas, they get a potential first round pick from a player that they paid virtually no money to. He's on a 1-year, $1 million contract, so there was really nothing to lose for the Dallas Stars. Yes, he had a great year. They're not going to waste a 32-year-old's year just because he's having a good year. They're not going to keep him because they're not going to play in the postseason. Go ahead and send him off to a playoff team. I'm glad that they did. Eaves, again, he's a vet, played for a long time. This was a low-risk play by the Dallas Stars. Didn't pay him a whole lot of money. Turned out had a great year, and they are maybe getting a first-round pick for him. So at the end of the day, I like the trade for both teams. I think if I had to give a thumbs up, if I had to say you win the trade, I think it's going to be the Dallas Stars. Eaves is 32 years old, going to be 33 soon. I mean, they're going to get a potential first-round pick for him. That's awesome. I think in the long run, Dallas wins the deal. I do like the trade for Anaheim, though. I hope he puts up numbers with Perry and Getzlaf, or wherever he plays with Kessler or with Raquel. I hope that he does well. This guy's like many who have played in the NHL for a long time. Now he's going to get a legitimate shot at a Stanley Cup. As always, I want to know who you guys think won the deal in the comments down below. Now on to the Thomas Jurco trade. It was a third-round pick in exchange for Thomas Jurco. So going from the Detroit Red Wings and going over to the Chicago Blackhawks, we're going to try to send the offer their way, and Chicago is going to say no. They do not want to give up a third-round pick for Thomas Jurco, and I understand that, but if we go from the other way, if we offer it from Chicago going to Detroit, Detroit says, yeah, you know what, we can part ways with Thomas Jurco. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about Jurco. You can see here his points aren't that great. He has 39 points in 159 games. It's not that great. He's only 24 years old, so I think he's still got tons of time to grow, and especially going to a team like Chicago where they're fully young talent. Obviously, they still have their superstars, Kane, Taves, Hossa. The list goes on. Crawford, Keith, Seabrook. Just ridiculous, the team that Chicago has. But again, Jurco's still pretty young. There's still hope for the kid. I hope he can become what Red Wings fans initially wanted when they drafted him pretty much in the first round. Only 5 picks outside the first round. They picked him 35th overall in 2011. Now, just to make some Wings fans a little bit sad, he was drafted ahead of Boone Jenner, Victor Rask, John Gibson. He's also drafted ahead of a little player you may know, Nikita Kucherov. Now, obviously, the draft is a crapshoot at times. Seeing who teams could have took and who they didn't take is always really fun for me. So that kind of sucks for Detroit fans. Also sucks for every other team who didn't get Nikita Kucherov. But you know what? I really hope that Jurco can prove himself to be a legitimate NHLer. Has not done it up to this point. I'm not sure the type of ice time he was getting in Detroit, and I'm not sure the type of ice time he'll be getting in Chicago. I hope he does become the player that he once was in junior. He had pretty good stats there with the St. John's Sea Dogs. Not outstanding, but just decent, and maybe that's all he'll be. Maybe he'll just be a third line scorer, and if he does turn out to be that, that's great. Now, as of right now, I'm not sure if there is a clear-cut winner. I think if Jurco does become something, obviously that's going to be awesome for Chicago, but if I had to pick a winner, I think I'm going to pick the Hawks. It's a gamble to give up a third for Thomas Jurco, but you know what? I like taking gambles. I hope he does well, and especially if, you know, maybe he'll play with Kane and Taves and he'll just rip it up. Who knows at this point? I know a third round pick is pretty good, but for Thomas Jurco, the kid's had some hype over the years. I've heard a lot of stuff about him, but nothing has happened as of right yet. So let me know who you think won out of these two trades. There's going to be a ton of these videos coming up. Obviously, the trade deadline is less than a week away. I am so excited about it. There's lots of big players on the chopping block. Duchesne, Shattenkirk, so many out there. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys once the next big trade drops.